Welcome back, everybody. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it really does feel like in the last couple years, the left has taken a big hit in terms of its cultural relevance and presence online. And you might think to yourself, well, the internet doesn't matter when it comes to politics. What really matters is real-life organizing and direct action, protesting, and getting involved with your community. And I don't disagree with that at all. I completely do agree. But I also believe that the internet is the world's largest and most efficient communication device ever created. Getting an idea out there to a wide audience and convincing millions of people is something that you can almost certainly only do through the internet. And never has it been more possible for anybody to do that than through the internet. Which means I believe the left needs to have a presence online. It needs to have influence. The right has managed to win elections off of memes like wokeness. Wokeness started out as an internet meme, and a year later, after I first heard it as an internet meme, it was being written down in the titles of laws that Republicans were passing. So, the internet matters. And unfortunately, when it comes to Gen Z, and their online presence, they've seen a noticeable shift to the right. There's been a big cultural shift, if you will, which is exactly what this video I've been sent by my Discord is about. I believe this is a conservative channel, so I'll probably be responding to this video, but I don't know how much of the video itself is going to be objectionable, how much of it I'm going to feel the need to call out. We'll have to watch and see, am I right? But with that said, we're going to be diving into this big cultural shift that Gen Z has seen towards the right, how it's impacted the internet, and how that impact on the internet has further created a feedback loop of radicalizing other young Gen Z people into being conservatives or even far right, and thus continuing to perpetuate the loop. With all that said, if all this sounds interesting to you and you end up liking the video, stick around and leave a like and a comment down below. It'll really help the video a lot. I appreciate it a ton. Subscribe and ring the bell icon if you haven't already and you want to see more from me in the future. And join my Discord, the link down below, if you want to be a part of my fan base, the main hub and core of it, and come to all my, events and stuff like that I host in my Discord. With all that said, though, without further ado, let's get right into it.
Are changing.
I'm pretty sure this is like a Black Fatigue video, by the way. For those unaware, Black Fatigue is a dog whistle. It's one of the newest anti-black dog whistles that the right has popularized.
If you teleported someone from 10 years ago to today, their first impression would be that not much has changed. Phones got bigger, prices went higher, and GTA 6 still hasn't come out yet. But us who have actually lived through that period, though, we know the truth. We know nothing is the same. A couple years ago, hip-hop was the biggest genre in the world. Now,
dude, it's crazy to me how these people genuinely believe that politics changed forever. Or politics began in 2016 because that's when they started paying attention to politics. Also, once again, we're repeating the same misinformation that hip-hop and rap are no longer present on the top 10 charts for top streamed music in the world in 2025. Like, they've legitimately been pushing this straight-up lie that in the Billboard top 10 and top 100, there's, like, barely any rap, hip-hop, or black artists there. We actually went and checked ourselves to fact-check this claim, and it is beyond false. The idea that, like, black people have seen any decrease in their representation in the top billboards is just a complete lie. Rap and hip-hop have not died in the slightest. Rap has seen a slight decrease, but has been directly made up for by a growth in popularity of hip-hop. So it's like, nah. Now, in fact, the amount of black artists in the top 10 is, I think, greater than the amount of white artists in the top 10 most streamed music artists of the year. So, yeah. Pretty overtly, I would argue that this whole premise that Black Fatigue is based on is complete bullshit.
now it's dead. Just yesterday, everyone was holding their tongue and staying PC. Now, nobody cares. Today I want to answer the question on everyone's mind. What the fuck happened? These are the 5 stages of a culture shift.
Stage 1. Beginning.
Oh boy.
Welcome
Yeah,
to
it
the
is an
year
anti-woke
2014.
video, I think.
We're here at the tail end of Obama's presidency. The V-necks are cool, Instagram filters and Vine videos are at their peak.
The hipster era.
Got him!
My name is Jeff.
Everyone is doing the Ice Bucket Challenge, and Happy by Pharrell Williams is the biggest song on the planet.
Good times.
The general vibe is, well, kinda joyful.
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof.
Gotta be careful playing that copyrighted music, bro. You're gonna get me shot down.
Yeah, you guys remember that? I mean, if Happy dropped today, it would flop diabolically, become a TikTok meme, and get categorized as coworker music all within a 48-hour window.
Fucking true, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think it does speak volumes that that song was, like, a top of the charts song at that time. Like, it clearly denotes that, like, our culture was a lot more optimistic at that time. Like, don't get me wrong, there was pessimism, but, man, that song just wouldn't fit coming out today, would it? You know? Like, you would not release that song today. It just doesn't... Like, people are just so pessimistic and angry. I don't think that song would do numbers like it did back then.
Things wouldn't stay like this for long, though, as behind all the corny enthusiasm in the pop sphere, change was coming.
In the most unexpected form.
Okay.
Hip-hop
Oh,
had
boy.
at one point been a massively successful and influential genre. By the time 2014 rolled around, though, it seemed like those days were long gone, and that the once giant cultural force was on its last legs. Some may have disagreed, but the charts certainly seem to point in that direction, as 2014 statistically marked the lowest presence the genre had had on there in a long time. Mainstream hip
Is that true? Because whenever these conservatives have argued that 2025 saw the least amount of black artists in the top 10, I compared it to previous years and it was a blatant lie. So is that actually true? Did hip-hop fall off in 2014? Because what I can tell you is that pop music got really big back then. Like stuff like I'm all about that bass, no trouble. And songs like that 121 Pilots song, like now we're stressed out, like that kind of like poppy music got really popular back then. But I don't know if hip-hop died out back then. I feel like hip-hop was still pretty big. Hell, we're talking about predating the big like online rapper boom, because like rap saw a massive resurgence in popularity due to the internet and due to like self-made like SoundCloud rappers, YouTube rappers, YouTubers, and content creators that like broke into the music scene, stuff like that.
hop was dead, and the genre needed a spark, a wave that would pull it back up to the center of everyone's attention.
Mumble rappers? What are you talking about, dude? Okay, the vast majority of popular rappers from that time were not mumble rapping, okay? Like a lot. There's a lot to complain about with the character of a lot of the people who became famous during that time. But like take like one of the most popular rappers during like my like teen years was XXXTentacion. He was not a mumble rapper. Have you ever listened to his music or like any of the music from that time? Like the presence of mumble rap, as it's called, is overstated immensely, and I would actually argue it's a low-key racist dog whistle. I feel like most of the people who say it are just trying to denigrate rap music because they consider it black people music. I'm not gonna. I think that's why most people say that.
In another corner of society, though, that was already happening.
There is growing outrage tonight after an unarmed African-American teenager was shot and killed by police in the St. Louis suburb of Ferguson, Missouri.
I remember these,
Leading
the
up to
Ferguson
2015,
riots.
several disconnected examples of inequality had managed to cross over from online virality to nationwide outrage.
They're mad. I'm mad. We should all be mad, man. We should all be angry because of what's going on right now.
We are asking for games to be more inclusive. We're asking for games to acknowledge that we exist and that we love games.
I remember her.
With the rise of social media, there was a growing
The gray
feeling
and
that
zoom
everyday
in.
people now had the power to make an actual change. No,
I'm not gonna lie. Does anybody... Do like teens know who Anita Sarkeesian is anymore? Like, will they find out? I feel like modern like chuddified teens would have no idea who Anita Sarkeesian is unless like the right tries to teach them. I barely know. Yeah, you gotta be like an unk to even know who that was or anything. I guess hearing what she had to say might make some of that audience bristle, but I can't imagine most people who saw that video even know who that was.
nobody really knew at the time, but this was only the beginning of something much greater. In stage 1, the seed is planted, a foundational idea is shared amongst the collective. The vibes are in the air, okay? And now it's up for people to grab them and make them into something real. Most movements stop here, but every so often, they move into
Stage 2, Rise.
Seeing the stale atmosphere hip-hop's veterans had left behind, the new generation decided to try something different.
Hold up, Thug wanna play some new shit.
I'm guessing this is gonna be the SoundCloud rapper era.
You could hear their music online, mainly on SoundCloud and YouTube, and every once in a while one would creep onto the radio.
Creep onto the radio.
These so-called
We're gonna have a lot of racism here. Couch is just dislike for SoundCloud rap, which is generally considered, like, considering it's SoundCloud, anyone can upload there. Being a SoundCloud rapper is like being a YouTuber, you know, like, it could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on who you're talking to and about.
mumble rappers didn't take pride in their lyricism or messaging. They just put all their focus into energy, swag, and melodies.
Okay, let's be real. How many mumble rappers, if that's really a thing, where you literally can't understand what they're saying or their lyrics don't mean anything, saw success during the SoundCloud era? Like, beyond just getting maybe a few million listens on SoundCloud, like, actually broke into the industry, got with a record label, and actually started making money making and producing music. Like, I don't think it's many. Like, to be clear, what this guy is talking about, mumble rap is a thing. It is, but like what he's talking about right now is mostly an internet meme from when he was a teenager. You know, like, I need to emphasize that.
They were seen as a joke, okay? Most people didn't take them seriously, so they didn't see it coming. But over time, these artistic choices would form into a distinctive sound and aesthetic in the underground. And soon enough, with nothing happening in the mainstream, these fresh ideas would begin rapidly gaining traction. By the time 2016 rolled around, SoundCloud artists were blowing up overnight.
I think that was 6ix9ine, the first guy.
All of a sudden, hip-hop is cool again, and everyone is talking about it.
I know these old hip hop heads is big.
Oh, like Joe Budden? I know you watching this shit like.
Joe Budden.
Put up on your bitch, she
It's one of my favorite, because it's so close to being Joe Biden. It's so close.
and then you kissed the
That's the worst freestyle I ever heard in my life.
Memes, debates, and micro trends are at an all-time high.
I just read about this kid who spent 15 hours saying Gucci Gang.
The new wave is coming, and everyone can feel it too. It's 2016, the year most Gen Zers talk about like it was the last time they felt happiness. And I'm Gen Z.
Okay. Gen Zers talk about 2016 as if it's the last time they had happiness if they are now in their 20s. Gen Zers who were like 10 in 2016 don't talk about this as the last year they had happiness because they're currently having that year that they're going to talk about down the road as being their last happy year. Like, this is just a unanimously, like, a whole batch of Gen Z that was, you know, teenagers back in 2016 are now, like 25-year-old adults, and they're all having quarter-life crises, and now they look back at their last couple years of high school as the best time in their life, and see everything after that as when everything fell apart. They've been doing this for years, like these doomer Gen Zers that are like a few years out of high school, they hit their quarter-life crisis, and they just start talking about how like society has fallen and nothing is the same on their YouTube videos, and it's like just really depressing, and it's a big downer. Like, no, 2016 was a terrible fucking year. If you actually lock in and remember what 2016 was like, I don't know if you remember, David Bowie and Prince died that year, okay? Like, and that's just one minor thing. Like, 2016 was memed to death back then as being one of the worst years ever, and people are looking back at it with rose-tinted goggles, like completely without the Trump winning thing. Like, everything about that year was awful. The memes were terrible. People just across the board seem to be having terrible luck. Similar to this year in a lot of ways, where it just seems like everybody's having a rough time this year, just coincidentally. 2016 was like that. Like, it was not a good year. Like the internet trends were brain rotted as hell, arguably as brain rot as right now. Like, people talk about 2016 like it was a banger. It was not. Like, either you were too young to remember how bad it was, or you've gotten old enough to forget.
And they're absolutely right. That shit was just different. I'm sorry. Like, you put your Yeezys
It
on,
wasn't.
grab your hoverboard, go out in the street.
So there's the Yeezys, the hoverboard, and Vine. That's why 2016 was good. I remember thinking everything was already going to shit in 2016. I look back at 2016, and I see it as the beginning of things going to shit.
Open the Pokemon Go app. You go online.
Pokemon Go was that was a W. Okay, 2016 with Pokemon Go, that was a W. That was a W, I have to admit.
And then there's like a new Vine trend.
Damn, Daniel, back at it again with the white van.
Damn Daniel, Mannequin Challenge, Running Man, Juju on that beat. No real worries, just Harambe, Killer Clowns, and the 73-9 Warriors. Like, compare that shit to now. All these new generations have.
I can tell this dude's like 24, 25. He's having his quarter-life crisis, and like 2016 is the last time things felt okay in his memory.
6, 7, 6, 7.
Do you know what was a meme back in 2016, brother? What's 9 plus 10? 21? 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21. Everywhere in 2016. Are we really gonna pretend like there wasn't a 6, 7 in 2016, bro?
What you know about the dab? Young Buck? The fuck? You wish you were Unc. You wish.
I won't lie. Everyone was dabbing, and everyone was saying lit back then. It's true.
You were Unc. Back into the real world, and things are heating up. As Trump gets elected president, more and more people start feeling a responsibility to stand up and finally say something. At this point in time, the outrage we saw at the start of the decade started becoming more and more frequent. As useless as that sounds, they actually made a difference. The Me Too movement exposed high-profile predators and sent a lot of them to jail. Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Weinstein, and
Kevin Spacey
all get packed.
Where's the butt?
It's over with. The internet finally made people answer for their shitty past.
Colin Kaepernick sitting down, he said, to take a stand against the growing number of unarmed black men killed by police and racial injustice in general.
We just got out of a long-term relationship with a very boring but sensible person, and now we're dating a whore.
That is legitimately how the right see politics right now. And right now they see it as like, America is just having its fun era. You know, we're going with the fun candidate. The Democrats are boring. That's why they called Joe Biden Sleepy Joe. You could sleep easy knowing he was in office.
Of Americans enraged by the man voted into office by millions of other Americans.
Fake hair, she's racist, she's always lying, we don't care!
You don't have an option. You have to stand up, speak up, act up.
On Hollywood's biggest night, it
2018.
was activism that took center stage.
So I'm hyperventilating a little bit. If I fall over, pick me up because I've got some things to say.
Our voices joining together in a mighty chorus that is finally saying, time's up.
We put up monuments for the feminists. Tell the NRA they in God's way.
As we moved closer to the end of the decade, those who never had a voice increasingly started banding together, and seeing the positive effects their actions could now have, thought to themselves, maybe we can actually do this.
Stage 2 occurs when all those people who shared a common idea in Stage 1 start linking up, connecting, and building towards a common goal. The new wave is in full effect and ascending rapidly into
Stage 3. Peak.
Okay, so far I'd say it's somewhat accurate in its breakdown of like
marks
the
the
cultural
peak
trend.
of the movement's popularity as the average Joe comes to discover what all the fuck.
What is the movement? What do you mean? Like wokeness being left wing? Like does wokeness also include listening to music from black people? Like does being anti-woke mean that you don't I guess is he implying that like woke people pretend to like music that's made by black people, and if they weren't woke and being performative, they wouldn't listen to it? And so because wokeness is now dead, that's why, and this is a false claim, no one's listening to predominantly black artists anymore? Like, is that what he's building to? Because, okay, well, let's see. Let's give him a chance.
Us is about. The thing, whatever it is, then becomes increasingly commercial and accessible for mass consumption. At this point, your alcoholic uncle will bring up Thing at a family gathering.
The problem they have is that I don't give a fuck. They don't cancel me, I cancel them.
Your parents ask you about Thing. SNL makes an awkward skit on Thing, which will make you slightly uncomfortable and chuckle one time. Hey, who the fuck watches this shit?
And even though this seemed like the natural
Boomers.
trajectory of both movements, nothing could possibly prepare people for what was about to come.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. We are
2020.
going to begin right now with breaking news.
I wonder if we're going to conveniently skip over, because what he's trying to argue with this video is that since 2016, Gen Z and our culture has been shifting right and right and right and right, and that's just not true. It's been a pendulum and always has been. And in 2016, we experienced like the peak of a right swing, and then began swinging left, where we saw the peak of that left swing in 2020. And then we began swinging right, where we've seen the peak of that right swing in 2024. And now we're swinging left again. We're almost certainly going to end up seeing a left-wing peak by 2028. That's what we're building up to right now, because in politics in America and globally, it's always been a swinging pendulum. And right now, the left is about to be on the upswing.
Because the World Health Organization has declared the coronavirus outbreak a pandemic.
COVID just hit. Everyone's inside and scared. But I'm not gonna lie, I was happy as fuck. You're telling me I don't have to go to school and I can spend the entire day doom scrolling? Bro, sign me up.
You were doing that already.
It has to come from the same virus to be in the same family. Viruses come in families. Stop touching niggas with your hands.
This was the era of face masks, Zoom meetings, Among Us sessions, and TikTok videos.
And I'm in the house bored in the house, and I'm in the house bored.
And to make matters worse, nearly a decade of protests culminated in the explosion that was the murder of George Floyd.
Okay, called the murder.
Riots and protests engulfed the entire country for several months, while the issue of social justice became unavoidable and omnipresent.
The Black Lives Matter.
Good. I'm glad he's mentioning this. This is true. There were protests for George Floyd in Europe, across Europe. And even, I think they even happened like Japan. Like there is a surprising global uptake of the march against police brutality after George Floyd's murder. Like it's pretty hard to not, as much as the right tried to like spread their lies about fentanyl overdose, the full video of George Floyd being choked to death was posted online. Like you have the video of Chauvin with his knee on the back of George, or not on the back, but the side of George Floyd's neck, cutting off his blood flow, which is how he died officially, was blood flow being cut off to his brain. And you can see it being done there, where it's like, wow, I don't think my blood would be able to get through my neck if I had that knee on my neck. So yeah, when people see that, they're going to lose their shit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a couple of George Floyd protests in Japan, I'm pretty certain. I know they happened all across Europe, and I'm pretty sure I remember them happening in Japan. I could be wrong, though. It's been a good few years.
The movement has unleashed a wave of protests against racism worldwide.
If you've exhausted every option of peaceful protest for decades, and the prosecution of police still hasn't changed, what would you do?
Protest is pretty fucking amazing. They seem to be dedicated to change in a way that I can't remember anything like this in my life.
The state of pop culture at this point showed us that racial awareness was mandatory, LGBTQ appreciation
No, it's just that was the trend.
Was necessary, and that social justice was cool.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take
responsibility.
I take responsibility for every unchecked moment.
Next, in what is possibly
Celebrities
my
do make
second
it
favorite story
pretty
this
bad.
month, Netflix and Amazon Prime came together to fight homophobia.
Quote, an unnecessary gay character.
Sorry you've yet to realize that every gay person is very necessary.
700,000 likes.
We love gay people too!
And folks,
there was definitely a pretty strong cultural trend towards supporting, like, the LGBT community and being woke and stuff like that. Like, I can tell you, my channel blew up during this era. You know, like, I've not seen momentum on my channel like I did during that era. There's very much was a spike in progressive sentiment that has since depleted substantially. Though I am starting to see it start to escalate again. That's why I suggest that the pendulum is starting to swing left again. But yeah, like, it was like the thing to be was progressive at that time.
Tune into the radio to hear the #1 song in the country, Montero.
Oh yeah, this song. They all lost their mind, the chuds.
Nas is gay. Oh, let me stop.
Bro, what?
I gotta edit that out. Okay, Dad, you look like you homophobic.
No, I'm not homophobic.
Girl boss main leads dominated TV.
I belong to no one.
That's Wonder Woman, dog. That's Avengers Endgame, bro.
There's a really long history of black people not being treated fairly in this country. It has to stop.
Quinn has gender dysphoria. Her assigned gender is not the one she identifies.
I will no longer allow an unchecked moment. I will no longer allow racist, hurtful words, jokes, stereotypes, no matter how big or small, to be uttered in my presence.
Like, a lot of this is, like, I guess performative and cringe in a lot of ways, but what I think speaks volumes is the fact that people were prone... Like, people weren't prone to it, because at the time, most people were fine with all this stuff. It was doing well, it was doing numbers, as he's suggesting. But what happened was the right began to create discontent with this kind of stuff, to suggest that, like, oh, this Netflix show has a gay character? Why is the character gay? Has the show earned a gay character being justified being in the show? And all the while, they're training people to think that way. They're training people to think in a way where it's like, did these writers justify this gay character? Meanwhile, they would never think the same thing about a straight character. Who thinks while watching a show, is this a justified straight character? No one thinks that. Is this a necessary straight character? No one ever thinks that. But when it comes to a gay or a black character, they've trained people to think that way and not to see it as racist.
Moral purity became everything, okay? How much do you care? How good of a person are you? Those were the main questions of the COVID era. At the same time that social justice issues were reaching their zenith, hip-hop was also peaking. Coasting off the momentum of the SoundCloud wave, the entire genre had embraced the homogenous trap aesthetic. But not without reason.
Really?
I mean, it worked.
Like, I don't even really listen to music like that, and I know that's not true. Like, that's like if your understanding of hip-hop and rap is the understanding of someone who doesn't follow hip hop and rap. I don't know.
And it didn't stop working. It was the sound of pop charts and pop culture. Every commercial had a trap beat in the background. Labels started mass producing industry plans to capitalize on the gold mine that mainstream rap had become. Nav was selling 130K first week. What are we talking about? At this point, hip hop was the biggest genre of music in the world, becoming bigger than it had ever been.
Even larger than life pop stars were desperate to jump on the wave.
When you see the max, they stacked up like my ass, yeah. Go from the south to the booth, make it all back.
Ariana Grande had.
Bro's got to stop playing this copyrighted music. I'm gonna be fighting a battle with the YouTube copyright when trying to get this video out. Jesus Christ, bro, gotta stop that. Hip hop is still peaking. I mean, it might have seen some small fall off in recent years. Like, every trend has its time in the sun. Like, this video is predicated on the idea of weaponizing a trend rising and dying and suggesting that that is the beginning and end of the story, right? Like, having a very narrow scope is the point of this video in order to push an agenda, or to push a narrative, I should say, not an agenda. But, like, if you look at it in even somewhat broader scope, it's like, well, what other musical trends blew up and died in this time period? Y'all remember, like, strum, drum, drum, clap music? I don't know what else to call it than that. Like, think, like, of Monsters and Men and, like, what's that other band? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, that... I don't even think, yeah, Stomp Clap Hey. That's the yeah, Stomp Clap Hey. Remember when that was a really big trend? Like, that was half of what was on the radio. Who remembers that era? Like, that was definitely white people music, if we're being honest. That was white people music, and that shit fucking died. Are we gonna try and argue that music dying was some sign that, like, American culture was running or moving away from, like, art that was predominantly made by white people or something? No, that's not what that means. It just means that was a trend, a musical trend. People were super into that for a while, and it kind of, leveled off and found its niche listener base like any other musical trend does over time. Like, rock and roll's not dead, but you don't really see rock and roll songs necessarily hitting the top 10 on the billboards anymore, right? But people are still super into rock these days. It's like literally any other music genre. You've got the ones that are currently the in genres, and then they kind of fall off and find their large, but still somewhat niche, dedicated following. That's just how trends work.
A whole era where she just spray painted her skin brown.
I'm like, bitch, that's my cookie, that's my juice, okay?
He's arguing that she spray painted her skin brown? Am I having like a pole fight with this gnome right now? Is that what's happening? Okay.
Carry on.
Talked strictly in Oz.
This is the Mac I'm here to talk about today, girl. Come on.
And made watered down trap music.
Make big deposits, my gloss is popping.
Kill me, get your ass in here. Come on, girl.
This is actually real. Like, her fans call it the Blackiana era.
In just a couple of years' time, both of these movements had managed to conquer the world. And now have...
So he's like taking the memes about Ariana Grande being the master of all races seriously. Like, no, obviously she is not doing some kind of racial fakery. She's just got a bit of a tan, and a lot of people have decided that she looks funny, and they get photos of her in different lighting, and they're like, oh my god, she looks like she's race swap. It's literally been a meme for years that Ariana Grande is like the master of the 4 race elements or whatever. She's the race avatar.
Having been rewarded with great success, the founders are no longer focused on innovating. Instead, their primary goal is to maintain their status, polishing the ideas that had worked so well for them in the past. Meet Drake. It's the end of 2021 and he's the biggest rapper in the world. Larger than life and in complete control of hip-hop. It hadn't always been this way though. Once upon a time, he was just an awkward, geeky kid who stuck out like a sore thumb amongst his rapper peers.
Everybody loves Drake.
Make music that people enjoy, you know?
While on radio, young Drake might have been a rising star and hit maker, amongst the hip-hop community, he was a laughing stock.
I don't like anything about Drake. Mom, I don't like his voice. I don't like what he talks about. I be trying to tell his face. I don't like the way he walks, like nothing.
People knew, dude. People knew there was something up with him. You know, he'd been acting sus for a while. Like, I remember when I first heard about Drake being sus, and it was when he brought a teen girl on stage and kissed her. When that happened, I was like, oh, so that's the kind of dude he is. Okay.
An emotional pussy who talked about women and feelings too much.
He's so emotional, man. When did rap become that? He'll just make a song that's just like, oh, I'm crying.
From that point on, Drake did everything in his power to dominate the rap game, secretly hoping he could change the mind of all those bullies who didn't let him in at the start of the decade. It took a lot of work, a lot of dedication, and a lot of great music. Fast forward to 2021, and Drake had gotten exactly what he was asking for. His vulnerable and emotional approach had completely changed the foundation of the rap game, and was finally accepted as normal. Drake was now not only the undisputed king of the biggest music genre in the world, but also well respected in almost every corner of its culture, even managing to convince some of his street credibility. Aubrey didn't want to change things anymore. Aubrey wanted things to stay the same. Nothing lasts forever. People always seem to forget that. Where there once was a purpose,
okay, so he's acknowledging trends.
People get cocky, arrogant, and start abusing their power just because they can.
Honestly, if you guys want to look in my eyes, you guys want to do something? You guys, that's what.
Is he trying to? What is his like premise here? That like wokeness and like progressive culture was tied, and the fall of that was tied into the fall of like Drake. Like, basically the premise of this video is minorities and progressivism have fallen off Lamau. Is that what am I getting that right?
What I thought. No, that's what I thought.
In a figurative sense, this is the point where the victim becomes the bully, perpetuating the cycle of abuse that was responsible for the start of the movement in the first place.
I have to come to the conclusion that inherently IShowSpeed is just a piece of shit. I don't see any way someone like this can turn around and redeem themselves and be able to make up for all the disgusting shit that they've done and said and influenced for people.
As a guy with a platform, I can't imagine posting anything like that.
Bankrupt them, put them out of business, deplatform them, like actually take them out financially.
They feel untouchable and unbeatable, convinced that their run will last forever.
I want nothing to do with you, and I won't think twice about it, because you're not worth.
The left learned their lesson, though, didn't they?
Keeping around.
This exact moment marks the beginning of the end.
And now, we take a short break from our program to learn the art of performative progressivism.
Hell yeah.
By Mint Mobile.
Welcome to today's video clip. How to be a performative good guy. You want status, you want reputation, and you want status. Okay, so for this strat, you're gonna need 3 things, okay? Twitter account, one of these glasses,
check.
And these are very
don't have
important,
those.
Okay, specifically this shape.
They all do have those, don't they?
It has to be this shape. These glasses say you're harmless, you care about women, and you care about social activism. The very important.
I will say, there was something going on back then with like the performative male trend, where like, and Hassan kind of popularized it, the round glasses and mustache, the dad mustache. I don't think Hassan still goes with that look currently, but during that era, every lefty guy who was trying to come off as like a male feminist, like performative male type, was doing the whole like round glasses, mustache bit. Like, you had Hassan, Noah Sampson, all the guys that were shown in that collage there. Like, I bet 70% of left-wing male creators had that mustache. Except me, of course, yeah, but, like, it was really like they were trying to fit this, like, visual idea of, like, a inoffensive, unthreatening guy. You know what I mean? But there were also a lot of these creators that presented themselves that way were also, like, backhanded and mean.
Step for this, okay? These glasses tell people you're an intellectual. All that's left now is the third step, which is getting an internet connection. Now you're gonna wanna get yourself a Mint Mobile plan because they sponsor this video. Now remember, you're only gonna do this while it's cool and trendy. So even though you save money on the longer plans, all we really need is the 3-month one. You're the star here, okay? This is all about you.
Wait, is he arguing that all these creators stopped being left-wing or pushing for left-wing ideas once it stopped being trendy to be progressive? Because all these creators are still around. They're just not getting views anymore, and the algorithm doesn't push them anymore. Like, the left has fallen off, but that doesn't mean those people that you're... doesn't mean those people that you're shitting on, like, stopped being progressive figures. Like, they just don't pull numbers like they used to anymore.
Mobile runs on the largest 5G network in the country, so no matter where you go, marginalized voices can sleep well knowing that you will be there to protect them. Don't worry, okay? Mint Mobile makes switching super easy. You can do it all in a couple of minutes. Keep your contacts, your phone number, everything. Click the link below and get yourself one of their premium wireless plans that starts at only $15 a month, okay? And for a limited time, all unlimited data options are 50% off.
Oh my god.
Get it while...
Last week they canceled Uncle Ben's rice. No beans, no rice. Trump doesn't even need to build a wall.
We're now beginning week 2 of the left's all-out attack on Joe Rogan.
The liberal mob's lashing out at Euphoria star Sydney Sweeney, calling her racist after she posted photos from her mom's 60th birthday party.
As we started getting deeper into the 20s, the dominance of wokeness in the mainstream and the aggressive tactics it used in eliminating its detractors sparked massive outrage on the other side of the political aisle. There was a growing rage from those who felt left out, and ironically,
these two gnomes have been online since I woke up this morning, just running up and down the beach attacking anybody on the horde who's fishing.
Oppressed in popular culture. Zuckerberg became a red pill frat bro at 40.
They've been playing for over 12 hours straight, just to give you perspective on the kinds of people who do this kind of thing.
Years old. Elon Musk buying X and making it a safe haven for the ostracized and the canceled.
Like wokeness basically wants to make comedy illegal. Which is not cool.
Podcasts become the home of anti-wokeness, with most comedians pulling in millions of views while professing their hate for the social justice movement. Along with them, their audience started rapidly moving in the opposite direction. They too would be canceled and deplatformed, but the sentiment still didn't.
Sneeko said his favorite movie was Cuties, and Andrew Tate got arrested for sex trafficking children. Okay, like, and women too, but there were also underage girls. So, like, yeah, they got canceled.
Go away. Woke culture now had an enemy, which was climbing rapidly up the ranks. Things slowly start to get ugly as stage 4 unravels.
I really think this is Drake's lowest point yet in terms of level of effort. He really put almost nothing into this record.
People get fat, washed up, and lazy, completely losing their ability to stick together, innovate, or adapt to any new obstacles. At this point, the movement becomes so normalized in the mainstream that it loses its ability to challenge. The once fresh and lively cultural movement is reduced to a cheap trend, an emblem to be worn rather than a piece of resistance that demands reflection and action. The social justice movement went from rallying people towards a common goal to pointless exercises of power over celebrities and athletes who didn't pass the moral purity test. The moral standards would only go higher and higher as time went by, until
One thing that I think is worth noting here is you'll notice the people that he's showing clips of here are different than the clips he was showing in the 2020 time, right? I'm not gonna lie, 2020 was when the left had like a bright future, and the entire movement got co-opted by grifters and LARPers. Like, I think the big death knell for the left's dominance in that era was Hasan becoming the #1 biggest creator, and then after that is continuing to consume the rest of the left around him, which have consistently begun to move away from America, away from talking about pop culture relevant things that people are invested in, and has lasered in on talking about foreign policy, America bad, pro-China, random beefs with like creators that are far more liked by the broader culture than him now. Zan fucking hates Hasan. What the fuck? Giving Destiny? Well, I mean, Hasan has recently come out to say that he believes China, we should model America off of China. And he's also expressed that Russia is right to annex Ukraine. So, yeah. He also said that Miley Cyrus was hot when she was a 14-year-old. So, yeah, we don't like Hasan here. Yes, we don't. Also, yeah, he's just generally kind of made the left look absurdly bad. Like, everybody who's not a hardcore internet leftist, he doesn't believe that about Russia. Thank you for saying that. Let's play the clip of him saying it.
What's up, folks? I'm live and alive, and we got a lot to talk about. I was right about Ukraine. That's right. War is not imminent. Oh, shocked to find out. Anyway, we're going to talk about that and a bunch of other stuff, so get in now. Possibly a new React series as well, so you don't want to miss it. I think maybe I'll tell my editors to do this, but I think I'll just change, I'll change this every day to Ukraine has still not been invaded by Russia every day. To make sure that the wishes of these fucking weirdo, I'm actually a sock them and you're fucking tanky idiots on the internet. Will, yeah, change it to Russia still has yet to invade Ukraine. And it's like day 11 at this point, you know what I mean? Time again that I don't think there is war that is going to happen because it would fucking destroy Russia. And I still believe that. That's true. Okay? Yeah. Throw the question marks all you want. I don't give a fuck about the Ukrainian constitution. I don't give a fuck about the Ukrainian border sovereignty that some of you dumbasses are fucking talking about like you're like a 3%er about for Ukraine. Okay? It's so stupid. Crimea is not the same as Kiev, however. Crimea is not the same as the rest of Ukraine, however. Eastern Ukrainian territories have a lot of fucking Russian people living in them because Ukraine, and just like Crimea and much of the rest of the fucking country, was a part of Russia, was a part of the USSR until not that long ago, okay? People's parents were alive back then. So obviously, there's a lot of fucking Russian people living there. So if you have, you feeling bad about the Crimean annexation does not change the reality of the Crimean annexation being a completely justifiable fucking act by the Russian government, okay? So that's it. That's fine. And Hitler invaded countries based on Germanic ties at first? Yeah, dude. Talk to me when he's fucking throwing Ukrainians in a fucking... What are you talking about? Talk to me when he's throwing Ukrainians in a concentration camp, okay? Hitler wasn't fucking bad because he decided to invade Austria. He was bad because he was fucking killing Jews, okay? That was the problem. Really? He wasn't like, oh yeah, we're gonna
God. Does it count for anything that he said he doesn't believe any of this anymore? No, it doesn't, because Hasan has not said he doesn't believe any of this anymore. Hasan got pushback and backpedaled. That's not the same.
Even the people inside the movement couldn't live up to them anymore. At that point, the focus turned inward, and the progressive sphere started devouring itself from the inside out.
Word to my mother, I really got the Joe Biden pinatas on deck.
People moved past COVID like it never happened and went right back outside.
Did they really?
Y2K aesthetic dominates everything. Baggy pants are back in style. It's a new day where virality is more important than ever. Streamers have become the new celebrities. Yego's death...
Oh, I should also mention, you know Dylan, the guy who made that video I was showing you guys a minute ago? Dylan Burns, the journalist who's been struck twice by Russia while doing volunteer work in Ukraine. When Dylan Burns put that video out criticizing Hasan's takes a year into the war, mind you, so only a couple years ago, well after he supposedly stopped believing those things, Hasan would go on to call Dylan Burns a war tourist pervert when his chatters told him that he'd made a video on him And then recently, Hassan doxed Dylan Burns on stream on accident, and then when he got called out for it by his chat, he pretended like he doesn't know who Dylan Burns is, which was really funny and fucked up.
Con 3.
You can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good, and I'm done with that.
Barbenheimer. Hip-hop is rapidly falling off both in quality and popularity. Nobody knows what to do.
Mind you, he did not show any actual data there. He showed what, like, a graphic design downward trend with no actual... He showed charts to show the rise in popularity of hip-hop and rap earlier in the video, but now he's trying to demonstrate a drop in the popularity of that type of music, and he just shows a random infographic?
How do you stop stage 4 from happening? Well, the answer is simple. You don't. There's really only one thing you can do at this point. Speed up the inevitable. For most rap fans, Kendrick Lamar was always everything Drake couldn't be. He was hailed as hip-hop's golden child right at the start of his mainstream run, quickly becoming the critic and fan favorite.
Like, this is good hip-hop. This is positive hip-hop. This is the kind of hip-hop that we need.
Okay, I don't care about his like
Wrestling with Drake
music
of
industry points.
Nigga, it's just big. I have a response for about your surgery.
Feeling.
Voting for Trump, suddenly you're a Nazi, you're Hitler, you're garbage. Enough.
They just want no Trump, no matter what, and they're willing to gaslight themselves.
Hey, so remember all those anti-woke guys from earlier in the video? Yeah, they didn't go away. As a matter of fact, they only multiplied and grew stronger as the public sentiment shifted further and further away from social progressivism. It wasn't just a fleeting feeling. It was a burning hatred towards the status quo that required drastic change. A fire had been started, and no one was putting it out.
It is now official. CNN projects that Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris and making a political comeback unlike any.
47th president of the United States. The former president's comeback.
The red wave.
I'm going to admit I'm a little surprised that they won so much.
It was finally official. We were now in
stage 5.
Death of the woke. So his premise here is that wokeness started in 2016, peaked in 2020, and is now dead and gone.
And that's it. Here we are. It was just announced that for the first time in 35 years, hip-hop spent an entire week without a single song in the top 40 of the charts. The biggest...
So that is the story their entire premise is based on. Because when I looked at the top charts of the year, their claims were not represented there. But there was a week where hip-hop songs were not in the top 40 for a single week.
Rap releases of the year have all flopped diabolically, and even the average Joes are bored at this point.
Rap is cool and all, but it's getting outplayed, bro. They talk about hoes, money.
It's the same topics like every single
17 bodies last night. Them all in the head. Ain't nobody catching.
Okay, I hope you get caught soon, my brother.
We know that your body's T. We know that you have good.
Okay, so yeah, basically he's trying to claim that like the trend of hip-hop and rap was tied into the popularity of wokeness, I guess. Because woke always just meant black people, I guess. I don't know, man. This shit is so stupid. This video genuinely gave me brain rot. Like, having to listen to a 20-year-old's understanding of politics and the world based on how they remember it and vibes from high school is crazy. I can't believe this is what passes for, like good political commentary now. Anyway, though, if you end up enjoying this video, if you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable in any way, make sure to leave a like and a comment down below. It really does help a lot. In fact, comment turtle if you don't know what to say. That'll be the keyword to tell me you watched all the way to the end. It'll also help the video a lot. Subscribe and ring the bell icon if you haven't before and you want to see more from me in the future. And of course, do not forget to join my fan Discord through the link down below. Be a part of the community. With all that said, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next one.